We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty.
Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin found guilty of second-degree murder and manslaughter in the killing of George Floyd. The trial, a year in the making, has finally reached its conclusion.
You're taking a look at downtown Minneapolis. Crowds are gathering across the country in celebration of the guilty verdict. Civil rights activists call it a victory for Black communities across the country. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Reyna in for Dan Schaefer.
And I'm Naja Sherman. We have brand new reaction from the president of the state NAACP after the verdict was read. He says though he believes a guilty verdict is correct, it isn't a victory because Floyd's life was still taken.
He says now it's time to focus on what's next, and he hopes the verdict moves us one step closer to where we need to be when it comes to policing in America.
I'm hoping that the police department, law enforcement across the nation will look at this and say that, you may wear the badge, but you don't have the right to just take a person's life just because you are wearing the badge.
We also have team coverage as we are hearing reaction from people across North Alabama.
WAAY 31's Sierra Phillips is in Huntsville talking with people following the jury's verdict.
We begin with WAAY 31's Alex Torres Perez. She's in the heart of downtown Huntsville with what one man says he wants to see next. Alex.
Everyone I spoke to agreed that what happened to George Floyd should have never happened in the first place. However, some people say that they disagree with the jury's verdict, and they believe it was not justified because of the pressures law enforcement faced while doing their jobs. Others disagree, saying that former police officer Derek Chauvin went too far and should be held accountable. Several people say there is a need for police reform to make sure those who abuse their power are held accountable.
I think that police are a little bit too sure of themselves and sure of a lack of repercussions.
There were concerns of protests after the jury's verdict today. That's because after George Floyd died last year, it sparked riots and protests across the country, and even here in Huntsville in front of the Madison County Courthouse where I'm standing at right now. Both the city and the police department say that they made no plans for any protests, and as of now, I haven't seen any protests gathered here in Huntsville. Reporting live in Huntsville, Alex Torres Perez, WAAY 31 News.